Hello, classmates. It's me, Alex Miller. I will be recording for our team today, which includes Jasmine Turner and Tarnisha Presley as well. Our presentation is based off of bullying in the workplace, and it turned out to be a very good assignment and very enlightening, and you'd be surprised what this is all about. So I hope you enjoy. So why was bullying in the workplace chosen as our topic? Well, because bullying in the workplace is quite often an issue that is unknown or unseen by some, but a lot of people do experience this, and it doesn't happen, you know, in plain sight. It'll happen behind closed doors or, just in places that we would least expect it. And it can happen between anybody. It can happen between coworkers, supervisors, people outside of our team. And what I mean by that is like doctors versus nurses, or nurses versus doctors, or nurses and clinical staff, or administration staff, and doctors and administration staff. That happens all the time. And it's sad because employees spend a majority of their time at work, and so going through these daily issues of bullying can really cause some problems for people, and it's really degrading and it can cause a lot of stress. So why is bullying in the workplace so important? Well, because the reason why is, like I said, there's a lot of unnecessary stress in this situation. And so if you get people who are being bullied, it's very difficult to want to come to work. It can cause some PTSD and overall unhappiness. And quite frankly, I know for myself and for anybody else, going to work, you don't want to be unhappy. Work is very stressful overall, but reducing that stress and being able to reduce the bullying can be helpful. And so, it is a big problem, and I don't think people realize it. But it could be a range of very small to very large, and being able to stop it for other people, being able to help other people get through it, just to ease their way through work, it can be vital to that person. And so finding a way to assist with that is important. So to continue on with the ethical issues, um, the workplace bullying includes harassment, imposition, and discrimination. Obviously, those can go on, but those are just a few. And like stated before, when harassment occurs, it can be stressful. There can be legal issues, and altogether, it's just not okay. So, certain factors that can cause this issue is going to be disagreements, miscommunication, misguidance, jealousy, or judgment. And so, maintaining the non-judgmental, or disagreements or misguidance or miscommunication, especially miscommunication, that can lead to a lot of issues. Making sure that those are separated, and watching the audience that we are presenting our voice to, and making sure that what we are saying is appropriate for the group or for our team is very important to eliminate these issues at hand. And in ensuring that harassment is not happening. So look out for your teammates, look out for your coworkers, look out for the people around you, just to ensure that this isn't going to happen. What is workplace bullying? Well, workplace bullying is harmful, targeted behavior that happens at work. So obviously, you're going to look at one coworker and start to discriminate, or, treat that person wrong. It's going to be in a spiteful or offensive, mocking or intimidating manner. And so looking out for others or looking out for that in yourself and ensuring that you're not forming those behaviors or that type of attitude is very important. But yeah, looking out for your coworkers is definitely the most important thing. And I know we get caught up in all these day-to-day activities and work and whatnot, but making sure that we're looking out for each other to reduce this from happening is important. The pattern will tend to be directed at one person or a few people, and then there are many forms of bullying outside of the obvious, such as making threats, humiliation, and verbal abuse. It could be that someone is always the target of a practical joke, or someone purposely tells you the wrong deadline for a work-related project, leaving you to face disciplinary actions. A statistic that was pulled from Workplace Bullying Institute, there are more than 60 million, that's a lot of people working in the United States are affected by bullying. 61% of bullying comes from bosses or supervisors, 33% comes from coworkers, and the remaining 6% occurs when people at lower employment levels bully their supervisors or others above them. To be protected by federal and state laws from bullying in the workplace, it must involve physical harm, and individual must be a protected group. So to protect yourself, obviously HR is going to be helpful in this manner. And then, being able to find a confidant in your work area is going to be very crucial as well. All right, so what are the effects of bullying in the workplace? Well, bullying in the workplace promotes adverse effects on quality of care being provided. So this is going to be any facility setting, whether it's a big healthcare organization, smaller healthcare organization, skilled nursing facility, small community, foster home type settings. So when the bullying has occurred between coworkers, it can cause a perception of, it's going to be a negative perception. But if coworkers are bullying each other, it's going to put a play in the patient's care that's being given, because if the employee is being bullied and they're taking care of these elderly patients or disabled patients, and they're not wanting to give it their all and give it their full effort, it's going to affect the patient as well. And so, it's going to be the smaller things of refusing to give care for the patients, refusing to give medications, refusing to help the patient eat. And then it puts them at risk and lowers their quality of life overall. The morals of the employees will eventually decrease, and it's kind of a domino effect. When you see one person not giving it their all, people start to follow that trend and not want to participate in the job as well. And so it's going to increase the call-in rates, it's going to increase the turnover rates, and the team dynamics is not going to be high, which again will affect the patients as well. So how can we prevent bullying in the workplace? Well, overall, the ideal thing would be to eliminate it altogether, but bullying will never be eliminated. That's the unfortunate part, because people's attitudes and people's morals and people's respect for each other will never be where we wish it could be. It does exist everywhere, not just healthcare. It's in everybody's daily life, and that's the sad part of it. there are things that managers or administrators can do to decrease the bullying effects on others. One of the first things that leaders can do is the prevention of unjustified treatment by providing bullying and harassment training. This can allow for employees to recognize bullying when it is subtle. So like I said, keeping an eye out on those people, ensuring that these actions aren't happening, because it's going to start from looking out for each other. So being able to implement a training to identify what bullying looks like, or how to notice when an action is considered bullying. The training will educate the entire team about impact of bullying and how it can cause the turnover rate or the unsatisfying results from employees and their want to move on from that job. The expectation should be modeled from top to the bottom of big side effects of bullying and what, the worst bullying can look like, to the lowest set of bullying and, the smallest effects of that. And then just being able to address the issues with coworkers and fellow employees, and to be able to reinforce with each other the importance of not bullying. So what are the tools that can be provided in order to create a better flow, less harassment? There should be an implementation of protocols allowing for employees to report incidents of harassment. So HR is a good start with that, but they're not always helpful in that aspect because they do have other things to, focus on as well, although this is a big issue. So maybe providing one staff member to be able to lead a harassment bullying sort of mediation would be helpful. Allowing an anonymous report, because sometimes if we go to our bosses or whatever and we feel like, oh, we're safe to tell them something's going on, and then they go and tell that person, it's very hard to want to speak up about what's going on. Administration should also ensure that the environment that empowers people to act, build, and create teamwork is what the workflow is looking like. Show leadership by being present and showing interest, asking questions. So these are the things that, can create a confidence in others who are being bullied. Having that leadership and giving rewards for people who are, following the guidelines and the protocols to ensure a safe workplace is what can push people to respond in a positive manner rather than being negative towards each other or being just nasty overall. So who are these workplace bullies targeting? Well, this is the shocking part. It's going to be your smart, competent, and self-assured individuals who are knowledgeable of their work, and they come in and, they really do, the bully is intimidated by this person. And so ideally that's why they're going through and causing this unrestful, awful feeling. But also seeking out those who are vulnerable, the timid, the shy, the quiet, which is just wrong, because why would you pick on somebody who's already, on the edge of being there and, just seems to be that social person? They need that that little oomph of confidence. Reaching out and bullying those who are caring and social can also be a problem. So bullies are going to tackle those who are, confident and are not confident in themselves and want to sort of bring down those good, honest people. Sadly, racial minorities are bullied, and it's not just where we think, it's also at work, and it's sad because everyone on this list is hardworking and they bring a good work ethic to the table, yet they're the ones being targeted by these bullies, and it's just unacceptable and it's inappropriate, and the behavior needs to stop. So obviously there are laws to bullying in the workplace. Legislators in 29 states introduced anti-bullying. Massachusetts in 2017 prohibited all abusive conduct against employees, even if it isn't based on protected class. Tennessee created a Healthy Workplace Act prohibiting bullying that is not tied to a protective category but applies to all public workers. And since January 1st of 2015, California businesses have been required to train supervisors on how to identify abusive conduct as a part of their sexual harassment prevention training. Also, not on this slide, but Providence also created a training for, and this was last year, it was a training for transgender people on how to treat them equally and how to sort of address the situation if bullying was noticed. And it's just to, basically it's treat everyone equally and treat everyone fairly, and not to seek out those who seem different. So what are the types of workplace bullies? Well, like we said, it's those who are not as confident in themselves as others may be. It's going to be the prankster, the one who likes to play the jokes on people, and sometimes it can be funny, and sometimes it can be too much and it can be harmful to others. There's the jerk, or the person who is that just absolute awful attitude. It's just stinky, it's just negative, it's pessimistic type attitude, and it's just daunting on any really organization, any department, and it's that condescending type attitude, and it can be very hard to deal with. There's the bullies who undermine every move that we do, and it's the one who will say, no, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, and push you down until you have nowhere to go. There's the constant critic who doesn't want to help you and picks apart your work on the tiniest little detail instead of encouraging. And so bullies have a theme. They want to pick on and hurt rather than uplift those. So continuation of bullies in the workplace, there's the gossip and there's the gatekeeper. There's gossip everywhere, gossip in high school, gossip families, but gossip in the workplace should not happen. It's something that cannot be addressed the same way as if we were to address our family or our friends. And ruining the workplace reputation, it doesn't help somebody move forward. And so that to me is the biggest ethical issue, is having somebody sort of tarnish your reputation, and if they want to move on to a better job or better, higher up in the company or in the organization, it's going to be harder for them because their reputation has been tarnished with or messed with. There's the gatekeepers who take a more indirect approach, and I think the gatekeeper kind of goes with the gossiper. And, you know, they won't, it's kind of that like sort of relaxed person. No, work should not hurt. So here are some signs that you're in a toxic workplace. You're constantly angered or frustrated, or you see a majority of people in your area frustrated and angered. Workplace bullying is admired. There's scapegoats always blaming others. Dysfunctional relationships, dysfunctional meetings, obvious hypocrisy, overly restrictive systems, incomplete or powerless HR manager. So, as stated previously, we feel like HR is a very safe place, but sometimes it can be hard to go to that route as well. And so, you know, look out for the signs on what bullying in the workplace looks like, because it really can affect someone's life. And it's not just at work, it can affect their overall life outside of work as well. So here are some alternative methods that we can take a look at to avoid bullying. Address the situation, confide in a confidant, document details, and stick to the facts. So again, bullying is an ethical issue because it is not appropriate. It's not a workplace setting type behavior. We should be uplifting each other because healthcare is one of those jobs that is already hard enough as it is. And so being able to be a team and be united is going to help anyone be successful towards the patients and the family. And so if we do these alternative methods by documenting those details and sticking to the facts, don't be blue, purple, yellow, be black and white, and be factual. That's going to help move any cases forward and help prevent further bullying.